Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. If I'm missing some of the panelists, please raise your hand to make sure we've got everyone. Very good. Let's see, right? Swarsha, I'm gonna add you to the panelists. Who am I missing on our panel? Let me know. Whoever is on the panel, just raise your hand so I make sure we would not miss you. All right, so we're going to give everyone a few minutes to join. All the panelists join, all the attendees join. We have quite a few folks who signed up to be live, so we'll see. Hopefully, quite a few join. And as a reminder to everyone, this session is obviously recorded. There's attendees who are going to be live, and then there is a recording of it, which we will upload to our YouTube, and it will be available to everyone who's registered. So that's hopefully going to be a really good, valuable content for all of you. And again, if you are a panelist and waiting in the attendees room, please raise your hand because we have quite a few folks who are on the panelists and quite a few folks who are joining as attendees. So I just want to make sure I don't miss our AI Advisory Council who are waiting to be promoted to be a panelist. Thank you, Srinas, for raising your hand. I give maybe two to 3 minutes more to everyone to be able to join. All right. Excellent. Very good. How's everybody? While we're waiting for everyone to join, which cities our panelists are from? Where are you guys calling? I know we're all over the world, and we have people from all around the world joining. But where are the panelists? Maybe we start introducing yourself while we give folks a chance to attend and join. Maybe do a quick introduction and introduce yourself as a panelist and who you are, which company you are, and which city you're actually dialing in. And by then, hopefully, we have all of our attendees and all the panelists live. Kyuri, do you want to go start and introduce yourself?
As always. Hi, everyone. My name is Kayuri, and today I'm calling in from Houston. And I work at Clio. It's a legal tech firm, and I am the lead AI billing product manager, currently in charge of automating everything in the back end financial aspect for legal firms. Happy
Excellent.
to be here.
Thank you, Kyuri, one of our active AI Advisory Council. I'm going to maybe you popcorn it to the next person.
Oh, yeah, Shweta.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. My name is Shweta Vishwanatha. I am dialing in from Vancouver, Canada. I work for a telecommunications software company based in Chicago called Veil Systems. I work specifically on the software platform that offers telecommunications for small businesses. So self-service is the goal, no-code self-service solution. And I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you, Shweta. Could you pass popcorn to the next person?
I'll pass it on to Uma.
Hi, I'm Uma. I'm calling from London today, but really based out of San Francisco. Currently, I'm working with, at a startup really delivering AI solution to SMBs. But in the past, I've worked at large enterprises, really used AI for onboarding, customer service, just like, Shweta mentioned as well. But really embedding AI from the start of the journey as the customer starts using the product.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Uma, for joining. And if you're calling from London, is it like midnight for you? It's quite late, huh?
It is. I just wanted to, it's fun because you learn so much from being here.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us midnight. Do you want to pass it to next advisory council to introduce himself?
Sandeep.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and good morning to Uma. My name is Sandeep Shivam. I am Associate Director of Product Management at Tavant. Tavant is a product and software company, and we build product for lenders. We are going through an exciting journey as we are looking to put artificial intelligence into our product in more common way like Gen AI. I'm basically from Dallas, Texas, and excited to be part of this conversation. Thank you. I'll hand it over to Srinath.
Thank you, Sandeep. Hi, everyone. This is Srinath Chandramohan. I'm dialing in from Dallas, Texas as well. I work for Ernst & Young. I deal with insurtech products every day, right? So not specifically one product, a little bit different. I'm in the consulting world, so I have to deal with all the products, whichever the client needs, right? So I'm in the insurance space and focus on the insurtech products and learning AI as well. So excited to be here.
Thank you, Srinath. Could you popcorn to the next person?
Subhasha.
Thank you, Srinath. So I'm Suvarsha. I'm a senior technical product manager at Amazon. I work in the Amazon business team, which means we cater to small, medium, large businesses. I take care of same day and next day deliveries for businesses.
Excellent. Thank you for being here. Wanna popcorn to the next person?
Yeah,
And I
I
just
think the last, it's Anastasia.
Anastasia,
Oh,
and
that's Sumaya is here.
she just joined. Yes, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear?
Hello. Yes, we hear you.
Yeah. Good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is Anastasia. Right now, I'm in Los Angeles, but I'm based in San Francisco also. I'm a chief product officer right now at Product Trends. It's a startup where I help companies to drive their metrics and to engage their users. Before that, I worked as a product lead at Philips Auctioneer House, where I built a marketplace with arts for auctioneers. And before that, I worked in large Czech Russian companies with content recommendations and a tech industry. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And I really enjoyed.
Wonderful. And we have three of other advisory council joining. Could you popcorn to the next three?
Who next? Yes.
Stella, Suryakant, and Samaya. They haven't yet introduced themselves.
Great. I can go. Hi, everyone. This is Stella. I am from Orange County, California, even though right now I'm actually in Hawaii. It's really beautiful here. Right now, I work as a lead product manager at Bill, BILL. We are a fintech company that powers business payments, especially SMBs. My area is around mobile platform as well as a modernization project, which is focusing on modernizing our products front end to make it looking more modern, workflow making more modern. Yeah, this is me. I'm gonna popcorn to Sumaya.
Thank you, Stella. Hello, everyone. So I have been in industry for 15 plus years, and currently I'm the Chief Product Officer at Empower. And we are a Web 3.0 and AI category defining company in impact investing. Prior to that, I have worked with big enterprises and Fortune 100 companies as well. And I have worked across 4 continents, multiple countries, across various industries or verticals. Currently, I'm based in Toronto, Canada, and I'm pretty sure that all of you are in warmer places right now as compared to where I am, because the winters have already started here. But I'm really glad to be here, and I look forward to speaking with you and learning from our mutual experiences throughout this conversation. And if I didn't miss, I will probably pass it to Sandeep, if he has not spoken so far.
I think he did,
I
but
did.
yes.
Oh, I'm
Who
sorry.
has an interest? I think Suryakant and Anshul are the last two.
Yeah, I can get started, Anshul, if that's fine. So my name is Surikant SK. I work as a program management with Samsara Inc. It's a IoT company. What essentially we do is improve the driving behavior of the vehicles by providing coaching to the drivers through the data we collect through the dash cams we install in their vehicles. And I'm based out in Austin, Texas. My role, I have to wear a lot of different hats, be it business operations, program management, but I'll touch upon one item. We collect a lot of these information through our data, right? And I think that's where the AI has a lot of power to provide insights which are truly beneficial to customers, and then also improve our ML models. So that's probably the role, touches a lot of facets on the AI side of things, and that's what I do and on my daily basis. So with that, I'll
Thank
pass
you.
the popcorn to Anshul.
Thank you, Surikant. Hi, everyone. My name is Anshul. I'm usually based out of Schaumburg, Illinois. I work at Velocity as a principal group product manager. Today, I am at the HR Tech conference, and I'm trying to make this video conference happen from there. At Velocity, I make sure that our clients are able to find or identify third-party integrations through our marketplace, which also makes it easier for them to enable their jobs to be done right within Velocity. Along with that, I also lead the API platform side of the world, making sure we provide all the necessary tools to our customers who are looking to build an integration between their application as well as Velocity. Nice
Very
meeting you,
good.
everyone.
Thank you for making it while being at a conference, and it's actually pretty quiet, so that's great. Thank you for joining. Well, I mean, we have this amazing panelist. If there's any of our panelists who are left in the attendees, just please raise your hand so I can get you in. But I think this is what we have. And so I'm Hoda, Mehr, CEO of Products Account. You've probably seen me in a few webinars. Very excited for this one. Folks you see on the screen are our AI Advisory Council, some of our AI Advisory Council members, and we're very excited to have them all here on this panel. What we wanted to talk about today is actually a very, very interesting topic, and it's something that came from all of our community members asking us to, if I want to be a good AI product manager or product leader, what kind of competencies, what kind of skill sets I need to develop in order to be really sort of what we call the super PM, right? So not only a good PM, not only a great PM, but actually a super PM empowered by PM skills, by AI skills. And then we have obviously, so PMs are very interested on that side. And then we have CPOs and product leaders who are trying to hire product managers for their AI skills. And they come to us and they ask, when I'm evaluating someone who I want to hire for building with AI or building AI enabled features, beyond the normal competencies that I need to look into, what should I evaluate for? What questions should I ask? What kind of competencies I should ask so that I hire for that specific AI skill and AI competency? And so the conversation today is about that, and it's going to be an open conversation. I have a few questions based on what the community have asked us to share from our panelists, but from all of you, from your various different experiences as you hire or as you upskill yourself, you could be hiring and evaluating people, or you could upskilling yourself as product leaders to become AI enabled. What are some of those competencies that we all want to look into? And I just say our Abhinav, our last advisory panel member, joined us. So thank you, Abhinav, for joining us. Let's just jump in. And I asked this first question to the panelists and anyone who wants to just start a conversation. It's about those, AI is a technology, right? So there is a few set of technical concepts or non-technical concepts about AI that everybody who is using AI for productivity purposes or who is using AI to build with AI and need to acquire. So I want to first start from some of those basic concepts and understandings that a product manager should have in order to be able to use AI, or product leader should have in order to use AI. What are those? And let's just talk about those basic concepts and understanding that we all should have. And anyone can jump in, please.
Kick off with probably the very basic term called training and inference. I think that's something we have been hearing about it, and it's not something which is new. This has existed from the moment we started pulling data and analyzing them, right? So training is essentially a very simple term of when you try to make a model learn. and inference is the knowledge that you get out of it, right? So you apply that knowledge and the model gets improved. So those are the two basic terms where I think the foundation of all of the ML model AI learning comes into play. And maybe I can go further, but I think I'm going to let other people jump into and build this further.
I
Great.
can I can add to what SK said. I think from a competency perspective, I would look at basic understanding of how AI and ML works. That includes machine learning as well as generative AI, and how the models actually make decisions and think. That's basic understanding. On top of that, a key understanding of where AI is the right tool to solve a problem. It's not always the case. So being able to make a nuanced decision on when to use rule-based deterministic approach versus AI, and then ability to evaluate and price AI products are the additional nuanced things that an AI PM should know. Everything else that they did before still exists, but these are some of the new ones.
And I think it's interesting that I think the way I like to drop an analogy here. I mean, I would consider basic the traditional software, it's more prescriptive, it's more descriptive, where you have the math and it works out. I would compare this as a recipe. When you're cooking something, think about you're given a recipe, you have to follow that and you get a food out of it. But if you include AI to this, that's your chef. That's going to play the cards and make sure that it gives what you're looking for. And how you improve that AI is, or that chef is, by providing feedback on, okay, this food doesn't taste great, this has a lot more salt in it, this has a lot more sugar in it. And that's how it takes that into consideration and try to rework on the entire model or the entire recipe and build further upon it.
That's a really good one. So let me ask the question to build on those core competencies. You guys as product leaders yourself, when the first LLMs came out, maybe when it was ChatGPT, or some of you was like even further before, like 5 years ago, before everyone had started using ChatGPT, or 10 years ago, before everyone actually kind of, it used to be called machine learning and then it became AI. Anyhow, so what kind of basically techniques or white papers or technical material did you go and educate yourself on in order to just have that basic understanding of building with AI and using AI? Can you share some of those things you did in order to become AI savvy yourself?
I can go with my background. I started with AI when I was in my undergrad. I was still learning. It was a lot to grasp. And initially, I thought I'll apply the theoretical knowledge, but at the end, I figured out for my first model that uh, screw the AI part, because at the end, I have to focus on the problem I'm trying to solve. I combined existing AI model, but for most of the part, AI was not helping me out, so I built the rules around it. Basic idea was clear how AI works, what is expected behavior. So I just used that. I used like AI is intelligence. So how would a human intelligence work? I just mapped those comparison with the machine's context, hard coded it with brute force, parallelly with NLP engine, parallelly with the dictionaries, parallelly with some context switching logic. And at the end, the result was produced, which was more accurate. So my approach was to focus on the problem, not on the algorithm or the fancy terms. AI gave me the basic idea, because from the college education, I knew what AI can do from the videos, from the talks, TED Talks, from the sci fictions back in 2011, 2010. There were lots of science fiction shows based on idea of AI. So we got the idea like what it can do. I used that, and that's how I got into the AI. I think for a PM, you don't need to have the skills of an ML engineer to be an AI product manager. You just need to understand when to use which AI approach and what it can do, what it cannot do. That is important, because what I'm seeing is what most leaders are pushing for it. Just add AI into things, but they don't understand the realistic situation of current AI's progress. Maybe in future, like after 3 or 5 years, in future we will have a perfect model, but right now we are far from that. So we for a PM leader, they should know what it can realistically do, and what are the risks associated with it, how wrong it can go.
Very good. So it's not a technical skill set, but it's actually understanding of what's possible with current AIs and what's not possible. And as PMs, you need to understand that, not the details of the technical.
And I
Uma,
think
go
the
ahead.
other
when AI is needed, and when like brute force rule-based system can solve it. I mean, you don't have to limit yourself with the AI if you can think out the box and do it in different ways.
Sure.
In addition to what Abhinav said, I would like to say that just like Abhinav, I have been working with AI since my college days. And like I used to work with robotics and whatever AI was there and building robotic like sleeves and arms and things like that. But for me, one part which definitely stood out after November 2022 when ChatGPT was launched is mostly like two things. Asking the why part, that why do we even need AI to solve this business problem? It's not only about product strategy. It's not only about building a specific product with a AI specific feature. Rather, trying to map it with a business outcome, because that's what matters in the end. Probably it's the seniority of the role as well that I had to do it. So that was definitely one learning part, because there was a lot of pressure from the my peers or from the leadership to include AI in everything. But for me, it was really critical to ask those questions, that not from only the product strategy point of view, but from the business outcome point of view. The other part which I would like to highlight is a little bit of, Abhinav touched on that a little bit, but it was more like a unlearning part. Because when ChatGPT came out, most of the people who didn't have any background or understanding of AI or machine learning or computer vision or deep learning, they started talking about it. And again, because they didn't have any background or basic understanding that how, for example, LLM or SLM works or gets trained, or what it can do and what it cannot do, and what are some of the limitations. So the unlearning part came in, that people kept on saying, like, for example, that AI will replace, initially they were saying AI will replace software engineers. Then they started saying AI will replace product managers. Then they kept on saying AI will replace these many jobs, all the jobs, and so on and so forth. And then there was a lot of noise around that AI can do everything, and we don't need product leaders or basic product skills anymore. So I think from that perspective, for me, it was an unlearning journey, that yes, I want to keep myself updated on what is happening in the industry, but at the same time, I have to be extremely mindful to separate the noise out of the real signal, that what everyone is saying is, yes, I am here to listen or hear or to learn about it, but I am the one who has the core responsibility to separate the noise from the signal, that this is the right information and this is not the right information, and this should be implemented, and this should just be, you hear it from one side and then you just try to ignore that. So those were two main points which I did in terms of my upgrading or upskilling when it comes to AI.
Excellent. So it really just going back to that, the why do we need AI here, and what would AI add to this? And that's a really good skill to develop, like a foundational skill as a PM to be able to make answer those questions. I know Uma wanted to say something, and Stella and Suarsha, you have your hands raised. So I'm just gonna go with that order. Uma, if you want to chime in, and then pass to Stella and Suarsha.
I just wanted to add one thing, and it's sort of something that everyone talks about, and I'll date myself when I say this. So when I was in grad school, obviously I did theory, so I did do AI and neural networks and every one of those, but never got to use it because there wasn't really data, right? So I think that's the other key part that a lot of people just miss, that you can build stuff, but you really need to ensure that you have the right data. And that's what I learned when I went into computer vision, and just the sheer amount of data. But even the data there was very biased, because some of the data that I worked in the security industry, so the data that we got was very biased data, because the data that you collected was, especially in the US, where we get the data from, is for face recognition and things like that. So it's all of these that really also matter when it comes to AI and you're building is what are you building for? What's the data that you've collected? And that's sort of the key when you're looking at building solutions. And obviously the customer outcomes and the user outcomes are the base of it, but everything else around it, forget the ethics part of it. It's really just the basic understanding of data and quality and all of those is really important as well.
That makes sense. So yes, it really sounds like it's still in terms of the core understanding, it's the core product management skill of really deciding whether this thing is applicable here or not. So yeah, go ahead and please feel free to just jump in. If I don't get to see your hand raised, I don't want to miss the opportunity to have your voice heard. So Estella, I saw your hand a while ago, so I'm just going to pass it to you. But everybody else also after Estella, please jump in.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, huge plus one to what everybody just said. For my own experience, I am somewhat non-technical. I did psychology back in my school years, so my path is a little bit different. Of course, you have to have the basic understanding, or those courses online. There are a lot of free resources out there, so people should take leverage of those just to have that basic understanding. Another technique I use is, of course, there are technical terms that I would not understand as a non-technical person. So I rely on ChatGPT giving me constant analogy to examples that I would understand. That has actually helped me a lot. Example is, what is a rag? If you just spell them out, I would not understand. But if you give me analogy, then I would be able to understand. The second step I take is I took a lot of hackathons, participating in a lot of those. I did Vercel had one, the world's shortest hackathon, which is literally 2 hours. And I think AGI House, the one in the Bay Area, we're hosting hackathons almost every weekend. Those are really great for non-technical people because you have technical people in the room with you, sometimes in a team with you, so you can complement each other. That you can give more perspectives from the user experience, user story, why you're building this, user value, yada yada, and they can complement you on the technical part. And then this last step is once you have something that you're proud of from one of the hackathons, you can turn it into your weekend projects. So my example is right now I'm very lazy. I don't know if any one of you guys are like me. I don't like to write things down. Sometimes I just like to put into a voice memo. So I built something that would parse out my voice into a text and then it would become a task. So it's called Tape Task, and I built a little prototype connected with OpenAI API, a lot of other APIs. And then I kind of have this thing building upon past few weekends, just so every weekend I know how to put my learnings into practice. So this is my way of enhancing the skills. Have the basic learnings, participate in something, meet some people, and then turn it into your passion projects. And then when you're doing this, you can also kind of do it in public. You can post about what you have done on social medias, and then you will have your own community, your own group of people connecting on all those different side projects that y'all have been doing.
Right. Sounds like the best way to go about it. It's a true PM style, right? So you don't wait somebody to come to tell you this is how you do things. You actually go figure out first principle style.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just figure out the founding. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
amazing, Stella. I think that's something that most of the really enthusiastic PMs around me are doing as well. So great to know. Another area that I would touch upon is AI's limitation and risks. That was an area that I really had to read about and kind of add another lens to any product that I was working for, right? We really need to understand the biases it has and also explainability to your users. So I work on a lot of B2B products, and to even gain trust of, let's say, admins who use my product, I had to understand the biases that were involved and kind of how to explain it to our business users in simple terms. So that's another area that I would call out.
So ability to tell and explain what's possible and what's not possible for other users, especially leaders.
Yeah.
That's a skill set for product managers in the AI era.
These are some great insights. So I really liked how the thoughts were put across. So mine is like a consulting background, right? So how I stumbled upon AI was like, what's the business need, right? Like we serve the clients, and clients have demands which needs to be automated, which needs to be made process handling. When in say underwriting process, some how do I automate this? Finish this. And when we stumbled upon this, and a lot of products, right? So we'll have to take a good decision on like which is like more secure, which will be the like compliant to the regulatory standards, and like how do we implement this? Like, do we put this on-prem? Do we like deploy this model on-prem, or do we like host it in the client, or do we make this a SaaS product? Like what are these decisions that we're going to make? And client is not willing to pay for like the AI's automation, right? So he's running in a set budget. So we'll have to budget it out, and we'll have to consume that AI automation in that set budget, and that's how you solve the business problem and also achieve the AI solution, and take this AI solution as part of the client communication, right? So that's how I stumbled upon this AI and started learning about this models. How do we host this? How do we make this a SaaS product? And like, what are the other products that's out there which solves these business problems? And we are also constantly hiring AI engineers, right? So when we are trying to hire, what we look upon is that like you have this AI skills, you have this machine learning skills, like how is the use case definition that you are able to define, and like what kind of use cases were you able to solve? Does this apply to the real world scenarios, right? So that's what we look for when we are trying to hire folks, so that like we can take them in and like we can put them in any domains, right? Insurance or banking or whichever domain there is a need, and we can put them in. Like they have the technical skill set, like how are they applying to the business acumen? So that's something that we look for.
Excellent. So you're bringing the business lens of it. It's about what problems the customer or the user is trying to solve, and then how can AI solve it. As we move towards the rest of the conversation, I want to add another dimension to what we've been talking, and it's about the AI mindset. So I've heard a lot of you talk about it's a little bit of a first principle mindset. Don't wait for anyone to come solve your problems, just go jump in, learn. And then the other one I've heard was ability to explain what's possible and what's not possible, and communicate well with other part of the organization. But so the same question as before, but also with a lens of how your mindset should change. If you are an AI savvy, AI enabled product manager or product leader, is there any shift in the way you think about AI versus what you used to think about like other technologies, APIs and crypto and everything else? Whoever wants to go.
Maybe I can jump in. I know, Uma, you had your hand raised. Maybe you can
Yeah,
build
you can
further
go ahead
upon.
and then I'll go.
Yes. So I think the one thing I've noticed, this is probably a big shift. When we talk about product managers, we always talk about adoption, usage. And I think that's where you have a lot of gray areas. I think this mindset shift has become from more adoption or usage to accuracy. And that's when you talk about accuracy, there are just so many different ways you can define it. Maybe I'm going to pick my industry, like an average, or if there is an accident on a road, if your camera captures it, and if there is a false positive and a true positive, you would like to lean more into recalls, right? Where you can capture those like false negatives as well. So I think that's where you can define your accuracy, and you can figure out what you are looking for from your use case. It could be different for other industry, maybe precision for medical or something like that. And then second, I think this is something which Suvarsha, you have mentioned that as well. It's the bias, right? I think when you look into the bias, you could find out different groups or different people who have different usage patterns. I've seen this so common in my industry, where we have the same ML model providing very high alerts or very accurate alerts for seatbelt. But I think there are some issues with our snowplows, because the snowplows, they're built to not wear seatbelts. So they've always been telling, okay, you can't keep sending these alerts because we are not required to wear seatbelts because this is our entire infrastructure. So I think that's where you start finding out biases between the groups. And I think the last one is the trust. whenever you launch a new feature, you will see a pretty high spike in the adoption, right? And I think as you continue improving further, you can see your trust going away as well if you're focusing more on building features after features or mini features after that, rather than focusing on what is it really solving the problem for the customers, right? So I think I'm going to leave it there, and I'll let Uma jump in and see if you can build further.
Yeah, I think it is exactly what you've said about features. I think the big shift for most of the PMs, or the thinking that needs to change, is AI is not a feature, right? And I think you can't deliver it as, product features anymore, and not think about it as that. It's constantly evolving. So it's not something you can ship and forget or say, hey, I released this and it's done, and then the customer's going to use it. But it's really, once you release it, it's getting the information. It's not just about adoption. It's about how they're using it, what's the context in which they're using it, and the feedback that they provide. And all that continuous learning is going to continuously change your product. So that's the biggest mindset shift that needs to happen with the PM, that it's not a one and done. It's something that you're constantly, it's like a living being. Almost think of it as a system rather than, just a workflow. Like instead of a traffic signal, it's really a smart city, right? So there are so many different things that come together to build the product now. And AI is really fundamentally changing all of that, right? And that's sort of the key, kind of building on sort of what you just said.
Yeah, I would like to add one other thing. So what Uma mentioned, right, going from feature builder to like system orchestrator, you're constantly looking at, as PMs, you're looking at data pipelines, model evaluation, user trust, all of the things. You're going from project-based delivery to continuous experimentation and monitoring. And I think as this shift happens, what I have noticed for it to be really key is this mindset shift, not just for PMs, but even the engineering teams who used to build traditional SaaS and now they have to build AI products, is this having a very like a growth mindset, focusing on progress over perfection. And I'm dealing with some of this recently. It's much easier said than done. People want to ship features that are perfect, that will have adoption, and to actually convince them that it is good enough for you to put it in customers' hands so they can start using it, and you can collect data, improve, and ship next iteration. Shipping more and more iteration, more cycles, far outweigh one perfect iteration. That mindset shift is very much needed in across the team, not just PMs, but the whole teams that have been used to building traditional products and now are now working with Gen AI and LLMs.
I
Go ahead,
I just
Sandeep.
wanted
I
to
was
add,
going to ask you. Go ahead.
yeah, thank you. I just wanted to add, thinking is one key thing where traditional old PM basically would think on deterministic approach. Now we have to think from what is the probability. So give some of the examples from the mortgage industry where I work. Um, Typically, if you are doing underwriting, it's either approve or decline. But what we are looking to do now is in the application process, as borrowers are giving data, we are saying, great, you have improved your likelihood of getting approved to 78%. Then more data comes in, it is 82%. So with AI, we are able to do that. And with traditional product, it was hard. It's like you have to keep building the rules, and based on that, you provide the decision. Other thing what I want to point out is we should not, as PM, we should not look to implement AI for the sake of it, and we should look to implement where actually it's gonna influence or impact our users. I I see a lot of places chatbots are getting used, but that may or may not be the right approach. So one of the approach that I have followed in my product is looking to put AI in the workflow where it's going to benefit the users. To give an example, underwriting is one key function that we have on our side. When appraisal report comes, basically property valuation, it's a long report of 30 pages, which underwriter has to go. and then find out what are the issues. So making it conversational in such use case may not bring a lot of benefit. So the mindset shift here is how we can bring value to the underwriter. So what we did is behind the scene, we apply AI and LLMs to do the analysis of image, to do the analysis of comments from the appraiser. And if there are any inconsistencies or discrepancies or any picture which needs to be highlighted to the underwriter, focus on only those areas, identify conditions based on that, and show it to the user so that user's time gets saved and there is not much conversation needed on that. Couple of other things what I would mention here on this point is earlier the focus was on user experience. I'm not saying user experience is not needed in AI world. Like many of us pointed out, trust is the key. Trust is the prime currency in the AI world, and that's what we need to focus as AI PMs. And last one is from my point of view is looking to have experimentation culture rather than going from fixed functional spec. Again, something that was pointed out. So in my product organization, what I have built is more of an experimental culture where we just specify goals, metrics, and then let the product experiment and give me the desired output or the place where I want to reach. So those are the point I just wanted to add.
I love it. So far we've been discussing, we've been at it for 40 minutes. So we've learned the stuff we've talked about. Learn as a PM that AI is not a feature. AI need to solve a specific problem. So it has to be really going back to that first principle thinking of like, how is AI going to enhance and address the business problems we're trying to solve? The second thing we learn is that as PMs, we have to just basically show up, learn, not wait for anyone to upskill us, quote unquote. It's not something that you're like, oh, I finished AI and I learned everything about it. It's just like you go learn and you practice and you show up in a hackathon and you experiment here and there, and then that's how you learn. Then we talked about this whole transition of going from feature building to system building or agent building. That's a totally different mindset as PM. So it's not like this little feature we're shipping, but this is entire like task jobs to be done that is getting shipped. And that's a mindset. And then I love the idea of being open about experimentation and being able to explain this for everybody else. And if you send the engineers a prototype, they should learn that you're experimenting, and they should know, and you should be able to present that this is an experiment. I'm open to it. It's not final set of PRDs that I'm asking you to go and develop, or features that this is actually an experimentation with the entire team. And then the last piece so far we discussed is the mindset shift of, yes, user experience is great, but trust is sort of the currency of the AI era, and it's all about whether the user trusts the output of your system and your AI engine or whatever you're building. Those are the 5 and 6 things we've learned. For the folks who have their hands up, or anybody else, please chime in. And what else would you add? What other shifts in mindset or competencies the product manager needs to develop in order to become an AI-enabled super PM?
I would like to add, and I know that Shweta probably and Anshul have not gotten a chance, so I will make it very quick here. But I would like to add 3 things here. First, I think it's really important to understand that with AI-based products, it's about probabilistic outcomes as compared to deterministic outcomes, which are usually the outcome of our traditional SaaS product, whether it's in B2B, B2C, or B2B2C SaaS domains. So that's really important. And that is intertwined with the fact that you have to build the learning loops in your experimentation process. So it's mostly about learning on the go. I think a couple of people have touched on that slightly. And during your experimentation process, and then treating that learning on the go for the probabilistic outcomes of the AI system or AI product or agent, whatever you are experimenting with. That's first point. My second point would be that it's really important, because many people talked about trust, but how do you build that trust? And that's where defining guardrails or edge cases comes in. And that is the job of product manager for sure. So our AI product manager needs to build those guardrails right from the beginning, right from the development of the AI product, agent, or system. And then they have to define as many as possible edge cases, that what will happen in this case or what will happen in that case, where this function, where the system or where the AI product or where the AI agent has the propensity to not function as expected. So those are the edge cases, and defining that right from the development phase and those guardrails. And the last point is a little bit different or a slightly different viewpoint based on my experiences as compared to what some of other people have said, and also what I have seen in industry. So I will give a very specific example from this very morning. And as a customer, because as product manager, we have to empathize with the customer first. So the point here is, when people say that it's mostly about trust and not customer experience, I tend to differ here, because it's always about customer experience. And the reason for that is that whatever product we are building, whether it's AI driven or whether it's without AI, again, as we established it earlier on, that AI is just a technology. We are serving a certain type of customers. And if we are not providing delightful customer experience to our customers, who will buy our product? Who are we building for? And one example from this morning, again, I will not name the company because it's a well-known one, but it's a grocery store. And I was dealing with them as a customer. So there was some problem. I did my grocery just like usual. And then I called them. On the call, for the first time, they had this AI bot. And this AI bot, like, I gave my order number to them 3 times through keypad. And the AI bot kept on saying, you didn't provide the input. And by third time, I was super frustrated because it was 7 a.m. in the morning before my working time. And I was like, what the hell? I provided the input through keypad 3 times. And if your AI bot or AI assistant cannot pick the input from the keypad, what's the point of it? And by the time it transferred me to the human CSR, I was already frustrated with the system. And the first thing, rather than my actual issue, I provided that feedback to the CSR that, can you please share this feedback with the decision makers that this AI bot is not working. Either they have to replace it with the human CSRs, or either they have to work on it to make it better. So my personal experience from a customer viewpoint, as well as from a product development viewpoint, that customer experience always wins. Customers don't care you're using AI, Web 3.0, quantum computing. No, they only care about if their needs are met and what type of experience they have with your product while their needs are met. So those are my top 3 points or learnings for AI competencies for product managers.
Excellent. Solve for jobs to be done for the customer and their basically happiness or their delightful moments with the product. Why don't we go to Anshul and Shweta, because and Abhinav, I know you had your hand risen, and Anastasia, I haven't heard from you. I do want to make sure you get a chance to speak, but Anshul, jump in, please.
Thank you, Hoda, and completely agree with all the participants here, what they've mentioned so far on AI. Overall, my perspective is that generative AI is definitely non-deterministic in nature. And since I've led a lot of API platforms and workflows in the past, those were pretty deterministic, event-based kind of rules that you can build out, and you can create a set of experiences for your customers. But in today's world, as the customer expectations are expanding, that is where generative AI and technologies like this can be really helpful for us to build that wow user experiences. And within that space, I'll just focus on 2 specific areas that the product managers need to think a little bit more about. I think one is AI evaluations. And AI evaluations is nothing but you are kind of measuring and fine-tuning the overall experience of your customers by making sure that your AI is, or your AI assistant is, behaving the way it should be. So you're providing, kind of creating that set of guardrails at the same time to say, hey, this is how it should be behaving. And within the context of that guardrails, I think a good, deeper understanding of context management is pretty important here. So your AI can always hallucinate, right? Generative AI technologies behind the scenes can look at so many different data points, and they can just throw some random things at the user. So managing all of those scenarios so that you are not You're not providing a biased experience. You're not providing a degrading experience to your consumers who can belong to different age and segments is quite important. So those are the two additional skill sets I would highlight that product managers in today's world need to also think about.
Yeah, being able to build product in a non-deterministic outcome. And we're also used to rule-based, and we control exactly the customer experience and say like this click on this and this is going to be this and this. But in this new world, it's not going to be that way because we don't have control on the AI behavior and the outcome of it, especially when it comes to B2C or even B2B. So putting those guardrails in that non-deterministic setup, it become an important task for product leaders, product managers. Shweta, let's come to you.
Yes, thank you, Hoda. So in my introduction, I mentioned that I work in telephony. So the experience that Sumaya had with phone systems is, I'm sure, a frustrating one. And we build applications, right? So so in this particular situation, like we're trying to get AI in front of small businesses. So I'm really focusing on the end customer experience as well as the business owner's experience building and like having AI incorporated into the product. And I think to a degree feel like it can be with limited scope considered a feature. Of course, there's still quite a bit of work to be done, even after releasing a feature. But I think with the way we're approaching it, we're kind of keeping the traditional SaaS, but adding like bits and pieces of AI as necessary from the outcome perspective. For example, we're trying to include conversational AI in scheduling appointments. And those are like routine things that are quite, you can ultimately get to the end goal of, here's the appointment, here's your location, this is the person you'll be working with, and so on. So since we have a good understanding of what the outcome is, how we get there through conversation is the non-deterministic part for us. So I think, yeah, like taking baby steps rather than trying to like do it all in one go, I think it has helped me the way for me to learn as well as like offer that as a feature set for our customers. Along those lines, FAQ bots, right? Again, we're using it from the voice perspective, like when you call in asking specific questions. And you'd be quite surprised, a lot of businesses don't want to talk to customers. They want to automate a lot of these things. So there's this fine line of how do we not get the callers to be super frustrated when dealing with these automated agents? But at the same time, how do we offer enough of a good experience that the business owners don't have to answer every call? So yeah, it's quite a bit of a challenge. I think a few people mentioned about collaborating. Today I had a conversation with my developers, and the thing was, typically we expect product managers to define everything, but in this conversation I was like, this is what we'll try, and we'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, we'll change the requirements a little bit. So that's a different way of approaching it rather than saying, here's the design, here's the behavior we're looking for, let's go. The developers are having more and more inputs in how the product functions. And I do really rely heavily on them to tell me what is sensible, what is feasible. And same thing with technologies. I feel like I've been collaborating more and more on the outside technologies rather than saying we can do it all. The company I work for loves to build it on their own, but I think we're starting to leverage like outside innovations and available services rather than taking on the responsibility ourselves. So it's overall been a good experience, but I'm definitely looking at it more from the customer side of things rather than productivity using AI.
Very good. So that this aspect of lean in and collaborate further with the engineering team, and then have this open experimentation with them. In the past, maybe it was like product defined and it's finalized, and then hand off to engineering, and then get the QA, like and get tested, blah blah. But there's like that blurry line between engineering and product that you collaborate with each other. That's maybe different than what we're all used to, sort of like handoffs between
And even
divisions.
design. I think design because it's still a software as a service product. We still need these business owners, our customers, to get on a dashboard and do these certain things. So now, I mean, design has always been important, but it's really interesting to see how now we are collaborating even with customers in some ways. I feel like we don't know what they're going to upload. We don't know what they're going to say. So there's a bit more of a, oh, we'll all learn and work on this together kind of an approach.
Great. So we have about 4 minutes left. Of everyone who has their hands up or not have their hands up, is there any specific skill set, mindset that about this whole adoption of AI and being AI-enabled PM that we haven't touched?
There's
What are we
I
missing?
have three
one
quick
point.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll just go. It's one point. It's really quick that I wanted to make. It's really about. It goes beyond design and engineering. That we always work together. All three really work together. But really, the key is making sure that you have legal included, you have sales, you have, when you build trust, it's not just building the trust with the customer, but it's also building the trust with all the stakeholders that you have within the company as well. So when it comes to, say, B2B, you need to make sure that you have that and really deliver products that are B2B, sort of like B2C, because that's what customers expect. They don't look at B2B as different anymore. It is B2C because that's what they've been used to. That's what they see in the outside world. They can't have products that's not. So those are things that are really important from a PM standpoint. It's not like you can't say I'm a CEO of the product anymore. It's really, am I making sure the team around me knows what we're doing? And that's really the key.
Great. Yes. And who wants to build on top of that great point? What did we miss?
Huda, I would just like to share one thing which probably most of the product managers in general miss out, but specifically when it comes to AI-based product management, and it's not a technical skill. One thing which has definitely helped me and served me really well throughout my career is to be an active listener. I strongly believe that as product managers, like this is a misconception that for any type of product, AI or non-AI product, that we are CEO of the products. I don't believe in that. I think we are just like, we should put ourselves as a customer of the product. And that's how we should deal with all the stakeholders, especially with our engineering teams. Although I come from a very technical background because I started as a software engineer myself, but sometimes and many times actually, when my engineering leader is speaking or my CTO is speaking, I give them more airtime to speak because first of all, I get to know their thought process. And then I can like come up with my own tactics that how we want to approach a certain problem or a certain feature or a certain business outcome. And then second, I learn on the go. And there is no harm in accepting that. The problem with most product managers, which I have seen in the industry, that they speak a lot and they just believe that they are CEO of the product. I think that's not the right mindset. So listening, active listening, which is a non-technical skills, but definitely helps a lot with AI product management.
Very good. That's well said. And Sandeep, Abhinav, and one person who has their hand raised, one of you bring us home and we can say goodbye right after that.
I know we are at the top of the hour, so I'll say just one thing. The best AI PMs are those who embrace uncertainties, think probabilities, and design systems that are continuously learning and adapting to new changes. I think that would be the winner. And we should make AI as our assistant in day-to-day life. And it's going to bring a lot of efficiency and will make us a lot more productive. So that's where I'll end. Thank you.
Excellent. That's well said. So we really have just 1 minute. I know we haven't heard from Anastasia, so I'll just let Anastasia to close us with her last point.
And I'd like to add that AI PM and PM, they should be a real decision maker, but also we use AI daily. But as for me, my critical principle that AI informs product strategy, but doesn't make strategic decisions. And PM must incorporate AI insights within broader business context and user needs. And we have to use AI, but not to, but also make our own strategic decisions. That's
That's
it.
well said. So AI is not the overlord. We are still the
Yeah.
overlords, and AI is our assistant, as Sandeep mentioned. Very good. We are right on top of the hour. Thank you very much. This was excellent. I'll summarize some of our notes and share with you, and we share with the rest of the community. Thank you for your time, and hopefully to see you on the next roundtable. Have a great rest of your
Thank
day.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
everyone.
Hoda. Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
Thanks so
Thanks so
much,
much,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone.